Hey guys, we are up to chapter 6 of Junie B. Jones and her big fat mouth. And I know many of you were wondering what she was going to choose as her career for job day. So I know some of you had said that you had ideas. Let's see if you're right. Chapter 6 is called Tingling. I couldn't sleep for the whole weekend. That's because I had tingling excitement in me about job day and my brain wouldn't settle down. And so on Monday I zoomed to the bus stop very fast. "Look, Mr. Wu," I said to my bus driver. "Look what I'm wearing today." Then I opened my jacket and I showed him my job clothes. "See? It's nice pants and dangling keys and a paintbrush," I said, "except for I can't tell you what I am because it's my special secret." You guys have an idea yet? Then I plopped down in my seat and me and Mr. Wu drove to the next corner. That's where my bestest friend Grace got on. She was wearing Mickey Mouse ears and a dress with red and white polka dotties on it. "Grace," I said, very smiling, "you look very beautiful in that dotty thing." "I know it," she said. "That's because I changed my mind about who I'm going to be when I grow up. Now I'm going to be Minnie instead of Mickey." Then I stopped smiling and my stomach felt very sickish inside again, because that meant Minnie Mouse was a fake too. "Disneyland is a fib," I said. After that, the bus stopped again and William got on. He was wearing a Superman outfit, except he had a W on the front of him and not the letter S. "The W stands for William," he said to Mr. Wu. "Does that mean you can fly?" asked Mr. Wu. Then William grinned very big and he held out his arms and he jumped way high in the air, except for he didn't fly, and so he just sat down. After that, other kids got on the bus too. And Roger had on keys just like me and also plastic handcuffs. And Charlotte was wearing a red paint apron with some watercolors in the pocket. And that meant Jim was wearing a white, that mean Jim was wearing a white bathrobe. "Hey, I've got a bathrobe just like that, Jim," I said very friendly. "It's not a bathrobe, dummy," he said. "It's a kung fu karate guy." "Jim is a kung fu karate guy," I said to Grace, "except for he just got out of the bathtub." Then me and her laughed and laughed, because that was a funny joke, of course. And job day was going to be the funnest day in the whole wide world. Chapter 7, Jobs and Jobs. When I got off the bus, I zoomed to room 9. That's because I wanted job day to start very quick. Only first we had to take attendance, and then we had to say, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands," except I don't know what that dumb story is even talking about. Then finally Mrs. clapped her loud hands together, and guess what? Job day started, that's what. "Boys and girls, you all look wonderful in your outfits," Mrs. said. "I can't wait to learn what all of you want to be when you grow up. Who would like to go first?" I would," I yelled out. Only then my bestest friend Lucille raised her hand very polite, and she got to go first. Lucille looked the most beautifulest I've ever seen her. She was wearing a new dress that her Nana bought for her. It was the color of pink velvet. She also had on shiny pink shoes and socks with bows and lace on them. See them down here? Lucille's Nana is loaded, I think. Lucille went to the front of the room. She reached into a little bag and pulled out a sparkling crown with jewels on it. Wow, look at all their faces. Look at Junie B. Then all of room 9 said, "Ooh," except for not the boys. "When I grow up, I'm going to marry a prince," she said, "and I'll be a princess, and my name will be Princess Lucille." Then she put the sparkling crown on her head, and she looked like a fairy tale guy. Mrs. smiled. "That's a lovely thought, Lucille," she said. "I know," said Lucille. "My Nana said if you marry a prince, you're set for life." After that, Lucille said her dress costed $85 and her shoes costed $45 and her lacy socks costed $6.50 plus tax. Then Mrs. told Lucille to sit down. Ricardo went next. He was wearing a round yellow hat. It was the kind of hat you can bang on. "This is called a hard hat," he said. "You have to wear it when you're building tall buildings, or else somebody else might drop a hammer from way up high, and it could hit you on the head and kill you." Mrs. smiled. "So you're interested in construction, right, Ricardo?" she asked. But Ricardo just kept talking about other stuff that could fall on your head and kill you, like a paint can and an electric drill and a lunchbox. Then Mrs. said, "Sit down," to him too. That's when William raised his hand, only he was being very bashful and he wouldn't go to the front of the room. "You don't have to be nervous, William," said Mrs. Just tell us what you want to be when you grow up. William covered his face with his hands. Super William, he said, very quiet. Then he got out of his seat and he jumped way high in the air, only his cape got tangled up in his chair and he crashed into the table. After that, Super William got very sniffling, and Mrs. said we would get back to him later. Then lots of other kids talked about their jobs, like a boy named Clifton is going to be a rich and famous astronaut, and a girl named Lily is going to be a rich and famous movie star, and also she wants to direct. And a boy named Tam is going to be a rich and famous boss of a big company. And he taught us how to say the word, "you're fired." And here's the bestest one of all, because a boy named Jamal Hall is going to be the rich and famous president of the whole United States. Cool, said Ricardo. Then the other boy said cool too. I did a secret smile. Yeah, only not as cool as my job, I thought just to myself. Then I raised my hand very polite, and Mrs. called my name. Oh boy, I shouted, oh boy, because mine is even better than the President of the United States. I zoomed speedy quick to the front of the room. You ready, guys? Here we go. Then my excitement wouldn't stay inside of me anymore. A janitor! I'm going to be a janitor, I hollered out. After that, I jingled my jangly keys and I waved my paintbrush in the air and I clapped and clapped. Only too bad for me because nobody clapped back. And here's something even worser. Room 9 started laughing very much. And it was the mean kind. She wants to be a janitor, they yelled. And they pointed at my brown pants and they called me the name of stupid. And I didn't know what to do because I felt very crumbling inside. Poor Junie B. And so I just kept on standing there, and my eyes got a little bit of wet in them, and my nose started running very much. That's how come I covered up my face. They're not having courtesy for me, I said real soft. Only just then Mrs. clapped her angry hands together, and she scolded Rule 9 a real lot. Junie B is right, she said. Being a janitor is a very important job. You have to be hardworking and reliable and very, very trustworthy. I peeked through my fingers at her. Yeah, and don't forget the part where you have to save people from danger, I said. Then that Jim I hate laughed right out loud. Janitors don't save people from danger, you goony bird, he said. I stamped my foot at him. Yes, they do too. Because one time I was eating a dangerous lifesaver and janitor made me spit it out. And also he brought his flashlight to room 9 and he saved William from the dangerous dental floss. Then I held up my jingling keys. And see these things? Keys are what janitors unlock bathroom door with. Otherwise, we couldn't even go to the toilet. Then I showed him my paintbrush. And janitors paint litter cans too, I said, and painting is the funnest thing I love. That Jim did a mean smile. Yeah, well, too bad for you, but you're a girl and janitors have to be boys, so there. I run to his table. No, they do not, you stupid head Jim, I said. Girls can be anything boys can be. Right, Mrs. Right? Because I saw that on Sesame Street and also on Oprah. Mrs. did a smile. Then my bestest friend Grace started to clap, and guess what? Oh, the other girls in room 9 clapped too. So what do you think? Is that what you thought that she was going to be? I bet that was a big surprise. Oh, here we go. That's Coco. Hi, Coco. All right, guys, so next time we'll read Gus Valoni in Chapter 8.